Okay, so have you ever had one of those mornings, you wake up after what felt like a really solid 8 hours,
Oh, definitely.
but your body just feels like it went 8 rounds in a boxing ring?
Yeah. Or maybe you're just going about your day doing all the, normal things, eating, working, resting.
Right.
And yet your energy battery just feels dangerously low, like it's about to hit zero any second.
We've all been there, absolutely. And it really begs the question, why, despite our best efforts, do we so often feel completely drained? Okay, let's unpack this.
It's a feeling far too many people can relate to. And the surprising truth, really, that our sources uncover is that often people aren't tired, mainly because of what they do, but because of how they live. Energy drains are, well, they're rarely sudden things, you see. They're more like silent, invisible thieves.
Okay.
Disguised as everyday habits that slowly, almost, imperceptibly, rob us of vitality, focus, and even joy. These aren't just minor annoyances. They're like fundamental leaks in our life force.
Silent, invisible thieves. Wow, that really captures it, doesn't it? The insidious nature of these habits. We're not talking about the obvious culprits like running a marathon every single day.
No, not at all.
Instead, these are the hidden patterns, right? Embedded in our daily routines that quietly chip away at us. So our mission today is to pull back the curtain on these deeper causes, revealing why that nagging fatigue isn't just about how much sleep you get, but how profoundly it's connected to your lifestyle, your mindset, and even your environment. And some of the underlying mechanisms the research points to are really eye-opening.
Absolutely. And by the end of this deep dive, you'll hopefully start to understand why you might feel like you're just surviving instead of, truly thriving.
Right.
And what's particularly insightful, I think, is that some of these habits are actually things we often see as markers of productivity or even virtue in our modern world.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, get ready for some potentially significant aha moments that might just change how you view your daily routines and maybe even yourself.
Okay, let's jump right in then. The first major cluster of these hidden culprits. Let's focus on the fundamental ways we fuel our bodies. We're talking about poor fuel, the hidden cost of what we consume.
Yep.
I mean, we all know eating well is important, but how does the source material really deepen our understanding of its impact on energy?
Well, what's really crucial here is recognizing that food isn't just about calories. It's like information for yourself.
Information, okay.
The research really drives home how processed foods, excessive sugar, and rely on caffeine for those boosts fundamentally hijack your body's energy production.
Hijack it? How so?
Well, instead of providing sustained clean fuel, they trigger these rapid blood sugar spikes and then crashes.
Right.
Creates a constant roller coaster for your system.
Right, the sugar rush and crash.
Exactly. And this forces your pancreas and adrenal glands into overdrive, which leads to systemic inflammation and basically energy debt rather than genuine vitality. Your mitochondria, the powerhouses in your cells, they really struggle to convert these nutrient-poor sources into usable energy. So your cells are literally starved for real fuel, even when you feel full.
So it's not just feeling sluggish after a meal, it's a deeper cellular stress response happening.
Precisely. And that's why we end up feeling drained even after eating sometimes.
Oh, okay.
And this extends to our reliance on things like excessive caffeine, too. Well, sure, it gives you that temporary lift by blocking fatigue signals and stimulating adrenaline.
Yeah, that morning coffee fix.
Right. But the sources point out that chronic overuse can seriously disrupt sleep cycles, amplify anxiety, and over time diminish your body's natural energy regulation.
So it makes things worse long term.
It's like constantly borrowing energy from your future self.
Yeah.
And eventually that debt comes due.
Yeah.
The cumulative effect is this cycle of dependency that slowly erodes your natural energetic baseline.
That's a really powerful way to put it, an energy debt. Okay, so beyond what we eat, many of us are, well, trapped at our desks, right? Let's move to another key physiological drain, sedentary lifestyle. The stagnation effect. It feels like modern life just forces us to sit all the time, doesn't it?
It really does. But our bodies fundamentally were designed for movement. The insights from the material are quite stark here. They frame prolonged sitting as almost like a silent killer in itself.
Seriously?
Yeah. It slows your metabolism right down, weakens critical muscle groups, and can even impair circulation. That impacts how oxygen and nutrients reach your brain and tissues.
Okay.
Think of it not just as a lack of, say, intense exercise,
Uh-huh.
but is a lack of movement throughout the entire day.
Just general movement.
Exactly. This stagnation directly hinders your lymphatic system, which is crucial for detoxification, and that can lead to a consistent feeling of sluggishness. The body just functions optimally when it's dynamic, and a sedentary existence actively works against that natural flow.
So it's more than just physical fitness then. It's about the basic operating system of our body just not working right.
You got it.
Which naturally brings us to maybe the most talked about, but often ignored, drain, sleep deprivation. The foundation crumbles. It feels like so many people almost brag about how little sleep they manage on.
It does. And this really raises an important question about how we value our fundamental biological needs, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The research is, well, unequivocal. It positions sleep not as some kind of luxury, but as a critical period of active restoration and maintenance for both body and mind.
Active restoration.
Yes, chronic sleep deprivation, as the sources detail, isn't just about feeling tired the next day. It actively impedes your brain's lymphatic system.
The glim what now?
The lymphatic system is like the brain's waste removal system. It flushes out harmful metabolic waste products, including things like amyloid beta proteins, which are linked to neurodegeneration.
Wow.
So in essence, insufficient sleep means your brain is slowly kind of suffocating in its own waste.
That is a truly chilling thought.
It is. And it impairs memory, focus, overall cognitive function.
Well,
Plus, it dysregulates hormones that control appetite, stress, and mood, creating this whole cascade of negative effects that erode your long-term health and vitality.
suffocating your brain in its own waste.
Gosh, that makes you realize just how essential sleep is for simply functioning optimally. Okay, so we've looked at the body's fuel and rest. Let's shift focus a bit to the mental side. Our next major theme is chronic overdrive, the illusion of constant productivity. This combines overworking and multitasking, which, like you said, feel like badges of honor in our culture.
Absolutely. And the material really challenges this modern glorification of being perpetually busy. Chronic overwork, long hours, lack of recovery time doesn't just exhaust you physically. It keeps your body in a sustained state of stress. The sources highlight how this leads to elevated levels of cortisol, the stress hormone.
Cortisol, yeah.
And over time, that can systematically inflame blood vessels, increase blood pressure, and significantly increase long-term cardiovascular risks, even if you feel fine in the moment. Even if you feel fine. Wow.
It's a quiet trade-off. Years of your life and long-term health exchanged for temporary achievements, driven by this belief that more hours always equal more output.
And hand in hand with that, you often get multitasking. We're told it makes us efficient, but that's another myth, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And neuroscience actually proves it's the opposite. Every time you switch tasks, your brain doesn't just seamlessly transition. No, it expends significant energy reorienting itself. Kind of like how a computer slows down when you juggle too many demanding programs at once.
Okay, that makes sense.
This switching cost, as they call it, accumulates and creates cognitive fatigue. The research actually reveals that sustained multitasking can temporarily lower your effective IQ.
Lower your IQ? Seriously?
Yeah, impacting your cognitive ability as much as, say, a night of poor sleep. It fragments your attention, making deep, focused work incredibly difficult and contributing to this pervasive sense of mental exhaustion and reduced effectiveness, not enhanced productivity.
So we're essentially making ourselves less effective and more tired, all under the guise of being productive. That's a brutal reality check.
It is.
And this brings us to another mental trap, the internal energy leaks. Perfectionism, procrastination, and worry. These are things we kind of do to ourselves, aren't they?
Indeed they are. And they are incredibly potent energy drains because they operate from within. Let's take perfectionism. The material makes a really critical distinction here.
Okay.
Striving for excellence is healthy, right? But chasing some unattainable ideal of perfection, that's an energy black hole.
A black hole.
Perfectionists constantly battle this inner criticism, feeling like nothing is ever enough. They burn endless energy polishing things that don't truly matter in the grand scheme. The research links this endless cycle of unmet expectations to chronic anxiety, low self-esteem, and persistent mental fatigue, because your mind is never truly at rest or satisfied.
That's a much darker side of perfectionism than I think many of us imagine. I always thought striving for that ultimate standard was just a sign of dedication.
It can seem that way, but often it's driven by fear.
Okay. So how does that relate to procrastination then?
Well, they're often intertwined, like you said, by a fear of not meeting that perfect standard. And most people mistakenly believe procrastination saves energy by delaying effort.
Right, you put it off, you don't spend the energy now.
But in reality, it drains far more. The sources explain that when you procrastinate, your brain doesn't just forget the task. It runs this kind of low-level background program of guilt, anxiety, and dread.
Oh, that feeling, yeah.
Exactly. This constant hum of anticipatory stress keeps your nervous system mildly activated, which is why even a simple task can feel like you're carrying a mountain once you finally decide to start it. It's a continuous, insidious leak that slowly siphons off your mental reserves.
That explains so much. That feeling of dread about something you haven't done yet is exhausting. It's almost like our brain expends more energy avoiding the task than actually doing it sometimes.
That's a good way to put it.
And then there's worrying about what you can't control. Gosh, a deeply relatable habit for so many.
It truly is.
Yeah.
And it's arguably one of the most futile energy drains of all. Worry fundamentally changes absolutely nothing about tomorrow,
True.
but it steals everything from today. The research highlights that a significant majority, a huge majority of things people worry about never actually happen.
Never happen.
Yet your brain and body react as if the imagined threat is real, releasing stress hormones that damage health and dramatically drain your energy, impacting your immune system, your overall resilience. It's just a constant self-inflicted burden where your mind is constantly projecting negative futures, robbing you of presence and peace.
That's powerful. Our internal narrative, what we tell ourselves, truly impacts our physical energy levels. Okay, let's move to our final theme, environmental friction, external drains and poor boundaries. This is about how our surroundings and our interactions with the world can drain us, often without us realizing it. Let's start with excessive screen time, the digital drain. We're all guilty of endless scrolling, right?
Oh, indeed. And it's far more than just a time waster. The research reveals that constant exposure to the blue light emitted from screens, especially in the evening,
Yeah.
actively disrupts your body's natural melatonin production. It throws your whole sleep cycle out of sync.
Okay, the sleep connection again?
Exactly.
Okay.
Furthermore, those constant dopamine hits from notifications, that little chemical reward your brain gets, they train your attention to constantly seek external stimulation. It makes you restless, unfocused for deeper tasks, and less capable of sustained concentration. The sheer cognitive load of constant alerts and information streams puts your brain into this state of perpetual low-level vigilance, which is incredibly draining.
Wow, so it's not just draining our time or energy, it's impacting our very attention span and even our biology, our hormones.
Precisely.
Speaking of drains, what about clutter and toxic environments? I know my messy desk can sometimes make me feel overwhelmed.
Oh, absolutely. Your external world reflects and influences your internal state. A cluttered, disorganized environment bombards your brain with microstressors.
Microstressors.
Yeah, your brain constantly processes this visual noise, creating a subtle underlying sense of overwhelm and mental fatigue. The sources suggest that a chaotic space diminishes your ability to focus and increases cortisol levels.
Just from clutter.
Just from clutter. And similarly, toxic environments, whether it's a demanding workplace or, draining relationships, they create constant emotional strain. Neuroscientists call it emotional contagion.
Emotional contagion, like catching emotions.
Exactly. Emotions can spread like viruses. If you're around constant negativity or drama, your body mirrors those stress responses. Yeah. Even if you consciously try to stay positive, it's like a silent emotional suffocation that rapidly depletes your resilience.
So we're truly not immune to the negativity around us, even if we try really hard to be.
Not immune at all.
And finally, let's talk about lack of self-care and overcommitting. The erosion of boundaries.
These are profoundly intertwined, I think. The research emphasizes that self-care isn't a luxury, it's a non-negotiable investment in your energy.
Non-negotiable.
Neglecting basic needs like proper rest, mindful movement, moments of joy, or even simply saying no to additional demands. It directly leads to burnout. This often stems from a tendency to overcommit.
Saying yes too much.
Exactly. Where the desire to please others, or maybe prove oneself, leads to spreading your energy way too thin. Each unnecessary yes to an external demand is effectively a no to your own health, your own rest, your own happiness. This constant erosion of boundaries leads to resentment, stress, and just a profound sense of depletion. It's really about reclaiming your agency over your own energy resources.
Wow. That's a powerful and, slightly sobering list of what we're often up against, both externally and internally. So, okay, what does this all mean for us, for you listening who might be feeling some or maybe many of these drains? The source leaves us with a truly impactful thought, reminding us that energy is, quote, life's true currency.
Mhm.
And unlike money, once you waste it today, you cannot earn it back until tomorrow.
Precisely.
Mm.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it means that these seemingly small, everyday habits, from how we fuel our bodies, to the internal narratives we foster, the stories we tell ourselves, to the boundaries we set or don't set,
Right.
when combined, they silently erode your vitality, your creativity, your happiness. The kind of shocking reality we've uncovered today is that most people aren't tired because life is inherently hard.
Mm.
They're tired because they live in a way that constantly leaks energy. They're essentially trying to thrive from an empty tank.
So if you're listening and feeling that drain, feeling like you're running on empty, the good news is you can reclaim your power. The source really encourages us to start with just one meaningful change.
Just one.
Yeah, just one. It offers concrete examples like prioritizing whole unprocessed foods over those quick fixes, consciously incorporating movement into your day, even small bits, protecting your sleep like it's a precious resource,
Yeah.
establishing firm boundaries by learning to say no when needed, and creating spaces both physical and mental that nurture you rather than deplete you. Small steps, maybe, but potentially powerful shifts in how you manage your most vital resource.
And that really leads us to the ultimate takeaway, doesn't it? A truly thought-provoking final statement for you to consider. Remember, protecting your energy is not selfish.
Yeah.
It's survival. It's about recognizing the true, irreplaceable value of your life force and guarding it fiercely. That allows you to not just exist, but to truly, truly thrive.